You know what? I want to talk about online dating. Let's get into that. And I saw a quote from Scott Galloway where he said that if you're not in the top 10% of attractiveness, dating as a man, specifically like online on the apps, can be a humiliating experience. And I think one of the things that I've seen, whether it's speaking with friends or just paying attention to the conversation online, is that when it comes to dating apps, there's a lot of men that just feel completely like frustrated and almost like frozen out by the experience of it. And so I'm curious for you, because you even mentioned that like when you were helping your friends, you would look, as a woman, you would look at their profiles and straight away be like, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, like, what are those early signs? Like, what is it that's happening, I guess, in your brain when you're like, straight away you're seeing it.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, you got it completely wrong.
Yeah. So I'll also add to that, you know, at this point, I've seen thousands of dating app profiles. Never once have I seen a man's dating app profile and been like, yeah, it's perfect. Leave it exactly like that. I always have notes. And like sometimes it's a lot of notes and sometimes just a little. But like I've never been like, great, A+ as is, which says something, you know? And like, I mean, I don't say that to be like negative, but it makes sense that a man may not or would not be able to create a profile that is overall appealing to a woman because they aren't a woman. They're not thinking about it from a woman's perspective. And even more than that, I would say the profiles that I see that are like really bad and what can be done to make them better is the number one thing is just like crappy photos. So low quality, they don't look great, selfies, blurry, you name it, not good photos. That is because that's the first thing the woman is going to see, and it's the hardest thing to get right. So that's the number one mistake I see time and time again.
You know what? You know what's interesting? Let's go deeper into that, because I think one of the things that I've realized just actually getting older, this wasn't intuitive at all, is that what is a good photo to a guy is completely different to what like a woman looks at and it's like, this is a good photo. Like I think as men, we look at a photo, we're like, oh, like I'm sitting on my car or something. Like, oh, like
that's a no.
Look at the way, I don't know, look at the side profile. Like there's weird things that we look at and we're like, this is great. Whereas I think personally what I've seen, even speaking with women, is they'll look more at like the environment, like the vibe, the energy. Can you kind of, because I think again, it's something that's kind of, it's blurry for men. Like it's kind of difficult to understand it from the women's perspective. Can you give that, like when a woman is looking at a profile, how is she even like, this is a good profile, like this is good, like I'm interested.
Yeah, so the number one thing your photo needs to be, or photos need to be, are high quality. So we're living in a time where you can, and that doesn't mean it doesn't have to be professional camera. You can literally do that on your iPhone. But we're all looking at really crisp, high quality videos and photos all day. So if she opens her phone and you have like a blurry selfie in the mirror, like that's just not gonna do it. So it needs to be high quality. She needs to be able to see what you look like. And then to your point, the environment and the vibe matter. She doesn't want it in your apartment, in the bathroom, at the gym. Get outside. Is the lighting good? What's behind you? What are you wearing? What are things that she's going to notice and be able to relate to? Either because you're at the pickleball court and she plays pickleball too, or you're wearing your favorite band t-shirt and she also loves that band. Think about the overall vibe and what the photo is telling her. So it's not only like, okay, what do you look like, which is important. She needs to be able to very clearly see what you look like, but it's who are you? What are you going to be like to be around? Because that's something men and women approach differently. Men care a lot more about what women look like than women care about what men look like. Women are going to care more about what it feels like to spend time with you. And that's really hard to convey in a dating app profile. But if you to the point about you have to be in the top 10% of attractiveness, there are a lot of ways to become more attractive that aren't the looks you were born with as a man. And so In person, that's something different. But online, that's the overall presence that you're portraying.
I think the point that you make on almost like the relatability of your photos, of like if you love playing pickleball and you have a photo of you on the pickleball court, it's like something that if she's aligned with that, she's going to pick up on it. And so I think that's actually a great point. That I think that most guys, we don't tend to think about that when we're thinking photos. We don't think about what is she going to relate with? What can she see herself in? It's almost like your profile is an experience.
It's communicating what it's going to be like to date you.
Yeah.
And you do that through photos and prompts.
Yeah. You know what? Let's do this, actually. Here's what I want to do. I think you know what I'm about to do. I have my profile.
Great.
I'm going to give it to you. I know you said you've not seen a profile that's been perfect in your mind.
You're a content creator, though. So I will say anyone who creates content does tend to have a better eye for it.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Let's see.
Okay, this is a cute first photo. I like what I'm seeing here. Good background, aesthetic. I can see what you look like, but your posture is really bad.
Wow, okay.
You're like quite hunched over.
Okay.
So I would replace this.
Okay.
Like if you're standing up, I also tend to like first photos. It's not a requirement, but I tend to like first photos where you're looking into the camera because it makes you feel more familiar. You make great eye contact. You're very personable. You have a great smile, which I am seeing here. But if you're looking at her and smiling, that's going to feel more powerful.
Wait, so on that point, you're actually, when you're working with people, you spend a disproportionate amount of time focused on like the first photo?
So the first photo is the most important because that's going to dictate whether or not she looks at the rest of your profile. If she doesn't like your first photo, then it's a no. And one of the ways in person and in photos to communicate confidence is posture, which is why I don't like that you don't have great posture here. I also would take away, this is like nitpicky, but if we're doing it, let's do it right. Yeah. I would take away the prompt at the top of the photo. Guess where this photo is taken. There's nothing to guess, like an attic. Like, I don't know. And you don't have to have something there, so I would just remove it. Okay, I like this one. The way to win me over is to not immediately try out your English accent as soon as we start talking. That made me smile. That tells me something about you, so I like that as a hook, like the first prompt. Okay. He's British. We like that. Okay.
A lot of the people in the comments are going to be like, I'm not English, though, so this ain't going to work for me.
Yeah, don't use that if it's not for you. Okay, this is a little controversial, and it's not right or wrong. You have your religion and your political beliefs. If those things are non-negotiables for you and you really want someone who shares them, then you should absolutely put them. But there's a lot left for interpretation around religion and politics. So if you're open to dating somebody with different views, or you are open, you don't need somebody, I guess saying the same thing, if you don't need somebody who matches you on those, I tend to recommend leaving them off or communicating them in your prompts. Like my typical Sunday, church with the family, pancakes after, like hot yoga to end the day, like something like that, if that's important to you.
This is interesting because I would never even have thought of that. Yeah,
because a woman might see this and be like, oh, liberal, like, and they might make all sorts of assumptions about what that means to you. And especially in this climate of politics, it's so
polarized.
Yeah, it's so polarized and you can't really make assumptions. Okay, the second photo is great. You got one with a friend. The only problem is I like his shirt more than I like your shirt, but
ouch.
If I'm being really picky. But you look super handsome, great smile. I like that photo. Okay, I don't know what I'm not even listening to like the sound on this talking one, but I love it. Because it shows a little bit about what you do. It shows you in an interesting environment. Like, oh, are you being interviewed? Are you interviewing someone? What's going on here? You're also wearing one of the things I see guys get wrong is they're wearing like the same outfit in every photo. You now have a variety of 3 different tops like that. Your hair is different in this one. Love that.
Can you talk about because I think something that you mentioned that's interesting, the photo with a friend. And so I think some guys, they just have like the types of photos are all the same. It's like just them. Or on the other side, it's like every photo
Yes.
has someone else in it.
Yeah.
Can you talk, is the variety important? Does it not matter?
I like at least one photo, like I call it a group photo. The group photo needs to be probably less than 4 people, but ideally just 1 friend or 2 friends, and you need to be the star of it. This one works because you guys are equally front and center. But if it's a photo of your soccer team or you and like 10 dudes at a bachelor party where she can't even see what one is you, or you're like in the background, that's not going to cut it. So, but it does, I like a photo with a friend. It shows that you are social, that you have friends, you're not a loner.
Yeah.
So I like including one.
Not the serial killer vibes.
Yeah. We'll get along if you watch Love Island. That's my guilty pleasure. Okay, that works. Women definitely watch Love Island. That's an easy thing to talk about. This one's cute. You on the bike. No, like, real feedback. Is it, like, amazing? Is it telling me a ton about you? No, but it's fine. I go crazy for girls that finish their food. It's, like, cute enough. What I would say, though, is all 3 of these prompts. Okay, we've got Love Island. We've got that you have a British accent. And we've got girls who finish their food. None of them really tell me a lot about how you spend none of them tell me anything, actually, about how you spend your time. So my simple pleasures and, I mean, I go crazy for, and my typical Sunday, since we're using Hinge, those all are good for teeing up a little bit about how you spend your time. Like, I go crazy for, just going off the food one, finding the best burger in any city I visit. So something that's, tells me more about you. Both Love Island and the food are talking about her and what she is going to be.
Okay.
I want to hear more about who you are.
Yeah.
And then I love this one. You it looks like speaking on a stage. That's great. Ooh, but then we finish out with another one. Same shirt as the one before, of you sitting in this podcast studio. Did you just take this photo and upload it here?
I kind of changed. I wanted there to be things off with my profile.
Okay. So it was perfect before.
Yeah, it was perfect. I wouldn't have been good content.
So while I like that photo, it's a little too similar to the other 2 where you have the microphone and are sitting.
Yeah.
So overall, not a bad profile. But I think there is room for improvement.
So you would say the biggest thing is the prompt that, I guess, the information that you have in there says something about who you are.
And what it will be like to spend time with you, something you like. She already knows about herself. So, and then you can decide if she has the qualities you want once you match or once you go on a date. But your profile is not a help wanted ad. It's not what you are looking for. It is who you are. And that's how you should be looking at her profile too. Is this, you look at her profile, does she look like a girl who finishes her food? Does she watch Love Island? And it's okay to have some prompts, like one of them that doesn't communicate about you, or even like 1.5, one that's kind of like in between. But I really like at least one to give her things to connect with you about. Why you? What is she going to find interesting about you? What is she going to see herself in and connect over because you both like pickleball, or you both go to yoga, or you both love to travel? But don't put I love to travel. That's like the number one.
It's just generic.
It's generic and it's overused. Everyone at least like pretends to love travel. So like actually have travel photos, or like to my point about finding the best burger in any city you visit. Like that communicates like visiting different cities. Like you might say like so far it's XYZ place in Dubai, and you can illustrate that you travel that way.
Yeah. How do men know when they've got it right? Like, how do you know? Because I can see a lot of guys saying that, right? Like,
you get matches.
Okay. So if you're not getting matches, then it's just, there's still something off with your...
Maybe, yeah, most likely. Dating online isn't for everybody. There are certain people, maybe it's because of where you live, or maybe it's maybe you're very short, so you're getting filtered out before people even see your profile. That doesn't mean you're doomed to have a bad dating life. It just means that online dating isn't for you. So if you've put the time in, if you've made a great profile, if you need help with that, I have a course that's just about making an online dating profile, and you're still not getting matches, consider trying an app you haven't used before with your new and improved profile. But after that, meet people offline. Even if you have a great profile, even if you're getting matches, I really never recommend that you focus all of your dating efforts online. It should always just be the cherry on top. It's a great way to get in front of people you wouldn't otherwise meet, but it shouldn't be where you're putting all of your effort for dating.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this episode, you're going to absolutely love what we did with this one right here. Click here.